I need to report on intense Jesuit attacks that I'm getting at work at Walmart. What's happened from assuming my brain-to-brain communications are accurate, Brent Spiner has talked to me brain to brain and informed me that at the Walmart movie studio that they found a film reel. Apparently, Jesus Christ just left a movie that he made of my life at the Walmart movie studio. And they viewed it and realized that Jesus Christ had made a movie of my life based on my website. And it's like watching the Great White Throne Judgment and the Judgment Seat of Christ all in one, where you can literally, it's showing the panorama of my life and all the major characters in my life: Brent Spiner, Vladimir Putin, Laurie McBride, Matthew McConaughey, Camila Alves. It's basically, from what I understand, the movie starts at the point where Brent Spiner contacted me and when he fell in love with me and propositioned me, and I turned him down. And what's unique about this movie is there's a strong use of voiceover. And that's generally considered really bad screenwriting because I've studied screenwriting. But apparently God made brilliant use of it, and he uses that to show what the thoughts were of the characters in his story as they were going through my life story. For instance, like when Laurie McBride raped Brent Spiner in September 1992, this movie actually goes into the thoughts and feelings that Brent was feeling at the time when he was totally enamored with me, and what Laurie was thinking at that time, and that she was a Jesuit, that she was trying to break up me and Brent Spiner. And anyways, this movie is unique in that it's like, you know what, I really believe when we go before God at the judgment, he's going to present our whole life before the whole universe on this huge movie screen. And what this movie that God made of my life is like a preview of the judgment, where all our thoughts, all our motives for everything that we did, for all the major events of our life are being portrayed up on this huge movie screen. And God's chosen key events in my life and key persons in my life, and he's put it up on this movie screen. And apparently the Jesuits are furious about this. Anyways, from what I understand, Walmart Movie Studio has released this movie to the theaters and is a major, major blockbuster. And God has chosen the music from my website as background, because God told us when he spoke to me indirectly through Brent Spiner on Skype that my musical taste is outstanding. So apparently he chose a lot of the music from my website as the background music that he recommended for the movie. Well, ever since this movie has been released, my job at Walmart has been like hell. I mean, about 100% of the customers checking out in my line are Jesuits. You say, how do you know they're Jesuits? Well, it's been like this for years. The Jesuits are satanically obsessed with me. But the past couple days, it's like every customer looks at me like this. And I haven't done anything to these people. So it's obvious, they look at me like this. And I'll say, how are you doing today? And then, and sometimes, and then they throw things and I'll be like, bang, bang, bang. And I'm like a torpedo. And sometimes it'll jump and land, and it won't land in one spot. And I'll look at them and think, oh, Lord, here comes another Jesuit devil in my line. And they'll slide their card and say, psh. They'll do it like this. Psh. And they'll say, this stupid thing, why doesn't my card work at this store? It never works at this store. And I'll go, ma'am, if you could just slide it from bottom to top, this is a very busy register, and therefore, if you just do it that way, they'll look like this. They'll do it really quick, and they'll look at me like, oh, I just want to get you. You can see this. Look, I've been dealing with this all day. Well, let me tell you what happened to me today. There's a manager that I work with who's normally very polite, very understanding, and one of the nicest people you could work with. But today, when I was at I was at one of the registers. It was an express register. And I have a bladder problem because the Jesuits gave me a systemic yeast infection, which they boast about on one of their websites. Now, God promised to cure it, and I am getting better, by the way. The reason I can tell is because I'm gaining a little bit of weight. And basically my diet hasn't changed. So the fact that I'm gaining weight indicates that the yeast is dying, because I believe before I had such a serious yeast infection that when I ate, the yeast got it first, and then I got it next. I got nutrition next, which explains why I'm always nutrient depleted. Well, I'm gaining weight because the yeast are dying. So God is keeping his end of the promise, and I'm getting over the yeast infection. Well, the Jesuits are as mad as hell about this. And I'm getting these vicious, rude, obnoxious customers in my line. They're all being extremely complicated, very unreasonable. And this morning, because of the yeast infection, I have to go to the bathroom all the time. And I try to time my bathroom breaks to go when the lines are not long, so that Walmart will have coverage at the registers and the customers won't get mad because the lines are long. So I rushed. It looked like I had an opening, so I went to the restroom. When I came back, one of the managers was at my register acting really flustered. And I thought, why are you at my register? And she goes, well, the lines were long. She says, didn't you just go to the bath? She says, you need to use the restroom before you show up. Didn't you just use the restroom before you showed up? And I told her, well, I have a medical problem, and sometimes I just have to go when I don't expect that I have to go. And the lines weren't that bad when I left. I could tell this was a clone, because what the Jesuits will do is they'll set things up in advance. It's always a conspiracy whenever they do stuff like this between the managers and the customers. And this is not the first time they've done this. And they deliberately timed this so that when I went to the restroom, all the customers, they've done this to me like so many times. They have mind-reading technology. So when I went to the restroom, they instructed all their agents to flood the registers. And then the manager came there, and this was all part of a setup. They do this to me a lot. And then as soon as she left, that customer that was there was acting kind of like, let me tell you what else is going on. I have updated our Pride scanners. We use our Pride scanners to deal with Jesuits. And so we are actually using the Pride scanners to kill Jesuits who are murderers, we're executing them because they're killers. It's either us or them. And I'm going to be going into more detail on this in another video. But to make a long story short, I would like you to go to my website, where I'm going to go into a lot more detail about why I think the Jesuits are increasing their attacks on me at work. But I need to make you aware that this is happening, and it's getting really intense. And I'm having to be a very strong woman to deal with this. And I think what's happening is we're cornering the Jesuits, and I can guarantee you, every last Jesuit who's on the planet, they're going to come after me. And I think Zach Knight is sending them. So I asked Vladimir Putin to help me out and rescue me, and he did come. And I'm going to tell you more about this on another register. But not another register, on another video at my website. So go to Gabrielle Chana, GabrielleChana.com/church, CHURCH.html, to hear more about this movie. Brent actually gave me a guided tour of the movie, and more about what the Jesuits are doing at Walmart and why I think they're attacking Walmart. Well, basically, they hate this movie that Jesus made of my life. From what I understand, it's a 10-hour movie, assuming my brain-to-brain communications are accurate. And it's the biggest blockbuster to ever come out of Hollywood. Though Jesus has instructed he does not want me to see it, because I actually find Jesus Christ attractive. And Zach Knight, who is the Antichrist, is using this to try to get me into trouble. He still talks to my mind and tries to convince me that he's Jesus Christ. Anyways, I'm going to be go visit my website, and I'll discuss this in more detail. So I encourage you to visit my website, and I will discuss in more detail exactly what happened when Vladimir Putin showed up, and to help me with these evil Jesuits at my job, more about the movie, and more about Zach Knight and how he's changing his strategy now, because I'm no longer falling for his trick of him being Jesus Christ as he speaks to my mind.